Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. We want to welcome you to our November 20th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. Um, and so the time now is 6:02 p.m. And I want to start off with item 1.1. Wanted to make sure that everyone has had an opportunity to review the agenda.
Yes.
So much. And so we are now going to do the call to order. Mrs. Arambide, if you could please do the roll call.
Frazier,
Here.
Dr. Robinson,
Here.
Tamayo,
Here.
Mr. Williams,
Mr. Williams is excused this evening.
Mrs. Wells Hill,
Here.
Mr. Gallegos,
Here.
Ms. Don Juan.
Here.
Madam President, we have a quorum.
Thank you so very much. We are going to item 2.3. It is the Pledge of Allegiance and reading of the mission. This evening, we do have special guests in the house. We are featuring Oak Creek Elementary School on this evening. Can we give them a hand? So the students from Oak Creek Elementary School will be leading the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Isabella Paez Garcia, and reading the mission statement is Carleo Paez Garcia. Are we ready? Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Graduate college and career-ready students with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors to personally succeed and contribute to the common good.
thank you so very much. At this time, we are going to move on to adopt the agenda.
Madam President, I would like to amend the agenda to add the student board report to communicating with the public, item 7.2.
Thank you. With that being said, we will add item 7.2. And at this time, I just now need a motion to adopt the agenda, please.
Madam President, I move to adopt the agenda as amended.
I second.
Motion to adopt the agenda as amended by Ms. Frazier, second by Ms. Tamayo. All those in favor?
Aye.
We have a meeting. Right. Now, we are so happy to be featuring once again Oak Creek. Before I do that though, if any members of the public wish to address the board during public comment, there is a sign-up sheet and you have until 6:30 p.m. So with that being said, Ms. Donaldson, it is in your hands. Thank you.
First.
R, reach for excellence. O, all my choices. A, attitude is everything. R, respect myself and others in my school. Thank you, Shasha.
See? Okay. Anything else? Okay. My name is Justin Heinlein, and I have been a teacher at Harrison for 17 years now. And I am here to introduce you to the incredible humans that make Oak Creek what it is. Well, Oak Creek. And between all of us, we have had 469 years of teaching. That is more than the country has been established. And 160 of those have been specifically at Oak Creek. So if our walls could talk, they would say we've seen some stuff. So we know exactly where the extra glue sticks are and that are hidden at all times. And there we go. Oak Creek is a small, tight-knit community of K-5 students with 244 students in all, including, so everyone knows everyone, including which kid lost a shoe at recess and which teacher always has energy drinks under her desk. We have 2 teachers per grade level, plus a dream team of support staff. 1 CLDE teacher and 1 CLDE para, 2 mid-moderate SPED teachers and a para, 1 significant needs teacher with 3 paras, 3 instructional paras who somehow manage to be to be in 5 places at once: progress monitoring, interventionist, tier 1 and tier 2 instruction, you name it, they're doing it. And supporting the whole child every day, we have our psychologist, our counselor, and our social worker. In total, we are a family of 45 dedicated staff members working hard, laughing hard, and occasionally crying happy tears when a kid finally nails regrouping in math. We may be small, but we pack a power of a punch of a larger school with all of the heart and humor of truly connected community.
Good evening. I am Amanda Martin. I started in Harrison at Monterey. Go Mustangs. I know you're out there. I was like, go Mustangs. With that being said, we're going to discuss our. Ooh. I am not on energy drinks. You are welcome. On this slide, we're going to take a closer look at who our students are at Oak Creek Elementary. We currently serve 244 students, as you heard Justin say. Our demographic really reflects our beautiful diversity that we do have in our community. With that being said, our population, we have 52% of our students that are male and 48% of our students are female. When we look at our student groups, we also have 19% who are CLDE learners, 20% of our students receive special education services, and 60% are general education students. Ethnically, our student has 60% population of Hispanic, 29% white, and 8% Black. We also serve students who identify as 2 or more races or Native American. The diversity that we have at Oak Creek is the heart of our work. It shapes our instruction, it shapes our support, and it shapes the relationships we build and have every day. This technology is great, you guys. I'm here for this. As you can see, this slide will also break down the data that we have a little further than what it was. Our CLDE learners alone, we have 53% of those who are male, 47% of those are female, and they span across our NEPs, our LEPs, and our monitor level students. So that just means that we support every stage of our English language learners' development. Our special education, we also have 46% of those kids that are in kindergarten through 2nd grade, and 54% of those kiddos are 3rd through 5th grade. With that being said, we use this level so that we can intentionally drive our decisions, our small group instruction, and our targeted interventions, because understanding their story behind the numbers will allow us to meet every student where they are. Yay! Oh, sorry.
My name's Erin Richard. I've been in Harrison for 14 years and at Oak Creek for all 14 of those years. I started there as the music teacher and transitioned into the classroom and into the coach role and then back into the classroom this year. Oak Creek truly is a family. And I say that because they've seen all of my kids grow up. Some of our staff members have been around when my kids were born. So it's a tight-knit family, and as we continue to support our staff members and our students and our families, we are taking relationships into account because we know everyone has things going on and everyone needs support. So one of the biggest things we have and we do is support everyone. When we say all means all, we mean all. For our students, specifically academically, we have what we need time, which targets their literacy needs, whether they're needing some reteaching or they need an extension. We have small math groups and small reading groups built into our schedule because, again, every student needs something and we need to meet them where they're at. So we intentionally build that in so everyone can have what they need. We have dedicated SEL time embedded into our schedule. Every student across our school gets social emotional learning every single day. Our foundation of that is through Character Strong, and then we add what our kids need. And if sometimes we need to take a break because they're not ready, we take a step back and we reteach what they need. In the mornings and at the end of the day, we have staff members everywhere because kids need to be said hello to multiple times before they get to the classroom. They need to feel seen. The same with our parents. And we're out there at dismissal, greeting every parent that we see, walking kids to the car and opening the door for them. Additionally, for our families, we have pantry resources to support what they need that we send home every other week as we can. We have family nights, information nights, winter celebrations, a science night in the spring. I can't say enough about Oak Creek and what we're doing for our families, what we're doing for our students, and what we're doing for our staff members. Thank you.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Linda Donaldson, the proud principal of Oak Creek Elementary. I've been at Oak Creek, I believe, 9 years. I lost track kind of along the way. I have been in Harrison School District for 37 years now. This is my home. It's the only place I've been. So I'm all about Harrison. I want to just talk a little bit about who we are as a school. And this year we adopted Lights, Camera, Action, Watch Us Shine. That is our theme for the year. And you can just see some pictures of different things that are happening in our school. And I'm not going to belabor on any of those, but just for your own viewing. Whoops, wrong way. Here we go. We are a performance school, and this was our SPF for this year, our report card. As you look up there, you notice that there's a lot of orange or yellow, whatever you prefer to call it, and there is some red, and those are all of those categories we are definitely focusing on because we want to make sure that we are putting in instruction to meet the needs of all of our students. Our students, our ML students, are the ones that we have a great foundation for, a great program for, as well as our students with disabilities. Our students with disabilities do range from, we have some kiddos that are speech only. We also have some that have intellectual disabilities. So they're kind of all encompassed in that. But we definitely focus on providing very good instruction so that our students are going to be meeting the need, get their needs met in order to make gains. Right, Lavina is going to come up next.
Good evening. I am Lavina Kabatsky. I have been in Harrison for 10 years. I started out as a third grade teacher, and for the last 3 years, I have been in charge of the CLDE at our school. I attribute the great gains that our students have made over the past 3 years to their work ethic. They are extremely willing to learn. They are excited, they are motivated, and most importantly, they feel safe in our school. Our students have done a great job this past year. We had an MGP of 73, which is a growth of 34 percentile points from 39 to 73. That means 88% of our students were on track for language acquisition, which was up from 56% in the previous years. Our model for this type of growth has been an extreme support system from our staff and our administration, as well as our para support person, Miss Beecham, who was unfortunately not able to be here today. But we divide our students up. We support 20 minutes each to give them phonics instruction, reading comprehension, vocabulary growth, and just overall practice with different types of languages that they're learning and making those connections to the language that they do bring from their home language.
All right, I'm just going to briefly put up our CMAS data. And I think every board meeting I come to, we all say the same thing. We're not where we want to be. With CMAS, we had some dips this year. We know that. We are addressing it. We started the year off looking at our standards versus just going right in and using the resource, which is the curriculum that we have. We're using our standards to kind of drive our direction and where we're going to make sure that our students are ready with the knowledge that they need to be successful. We also provide for both ELA and math small group instruction. So within our 120-minute block for ELA, there is time for small group instruction in there. And for math, we do the same thing. Sometimes teachers have it where they have 3 rotations. And they teach that same lesson 3 times, but that's what our kids need. And so we make sure that we are just hitting their needs in any and all ways possible. That's just our science and social studies, just so that you have an idea of where we are. Social studies for our 4th graders this year, because, you know, we're chosen ones for social studies. Our kids did fairly well. I'm always amazed because I don't know my Colorado history, and I've lived here for a long time. So when I go in, I learn something new. Science, we did go up a little bit. That is something that we're definitely working on as well, because kiddos need to be able to think a little more critically. We need to make sure that we're pushing some higher level questioning on them so that they are able to really their knowledge is going to be reflected in what they do.
Oh, that is the best thing ever. I'm sorry. It's the little things. It's the little things. This slide is going to help support the development and the student success at Oak Creek Elementary that we've built in with this multi-layered approach. We lean really heavily into restorative practice at our school in a way that we call pay it forward mindset. And it helps students really repair the harm that has been occurred, to help them problem solve so that they can come up with their own solution to the problem. And then we build that strong relationship back. We have a room in our school that's called the Pause Academy. And in there, it is not a punitive area. It is an area in which they can utilize that time to pay it forward. One example we have is if a kid is maybe throwing tissue all over in the bathroom, they have to ask the 4 questions that we have. What happened? What are you supposed to do? Are you doing it? What can we do to make it better? And then in that, they ensure that they give us that solution to solve the problem. Oftentimes they're like, well, I guess I have to go pick it up. Absolutely. So that is one thing that they do to help us pay that forward. With that, we also are committed, like you heard Linda say, with standard-based instruction and just making sure that our teachers understand the standards so that they're able to help receive that good first instruction to students and provide an opportunity for that instruction to continue to get better every single day. Erin had already mentioned that we do our daily socially emotional learning time. We know that students who are emotionally regulated are more confident and they have a better connection and they want to directly come in back into school, and that also impacts their academic growth. We also provide feedback with our observations when giving any kind of a spot or a formal observation to keep that instruction improving and continuing to have our teachers grow. We've expanded our opportunities in STEAM to include a lot of stuff in our Cougar Cash in our store around STEAM. So some of the items they can collect in their Cougar dollar or in their dollars will help them provide some of the items like STEAM. And it's all systems to help really engage and motivate our students. Oh, I don't know how to flip, sorry. And then just continuing our focus to help provide that success, we emphasize several key academics school-wide. All grade levels and all contents are engaged in daily writing. So that helps them build their stamina. It provides them a time of thinking and deeper comprehension. We, as our school, use monthly PCRs so that we can monitor their progress and provide any alignment with the grade levels and the expectations so that we can continue to move forward and provide them that daily instruction. A lot of our work, again, this year is looking at our attendance. We know that they can only grow when they're in school. And so it's really important that we provide that time for them. So we've launched a focus where we are trying to increase daily attendance. As you can see in one of the daily attendance trackers, we keep that in the teacher's lounge so the teachers can see exactly where the grade levels are. Whenever we have 100%, we do an announcement at the end of the day to congratulate that grade level for having 100% of attendance for that day. We look at our goal of 95. And again, if anyone is at 95% for the day, we come over and we do another initiative for them. There's a daily initiative, a weekly initiative, and then we also do a monthly initiative with them just to help provide them and let them know that when they're here, we support you, we want you to be here, and we're ready for you guys to learn. The last thing we'll say is that we just really focus hard on the academic standards in ELA and in math, and that instruction alignment helps us provide that rigorous and consistency so that we can ensure that every student receives that high quality and an opportunity for growth every single day.
All right, so as we kind of close out, Amanda did speak to some of these. What you see in these slides are the adults doing some learning as well. So it's not just the kids that get to partake in all of the fun and the learning. We do, some of our PDs are around other staff members providing professional development for us, and we sit in as participants and we really get in there and we work out math problems like that. So that's something that we do and we try to encourage. Amanda already talked about daily writing. If you come into our building, just looking around our building, we have writing displayed because that's something that we feel is really important. And our monthly PCRs have been, as we look at the data, we've noticed that they are starting to do better with their writing skills. So just to kind of sum it all up, it's what are the school's strengths? We have many, but on the slide, they limit you, was what I found. So I would say being a small community school, what's really great about Oak Creek is you'd be surprised how many people don't know where we are. We even had some of our feeder schools when they came over for communities of practice, they were like, "Whoa, I didn't know you guys were over here." So that's a great, it's great. We have families that have been there for years upon years, where sometimes the parents have gone to Oak Creek and now their kids are at Oak Creek. So we really love that family vibe. The relationships that are built within the staff. within the families and our community. And when we talk about all means all, that means every single person, every single student. It doesn't matter your title in our building because everything that you do contributes to the whole. Community partners, we partner with Genesis Church, and they are the kindest people. They did move, so they are a little further away from us, but that's okay. They love to send us treats, and they always have an uplifting card that they send to us, so we really appreciate that. Some of the other things that we have as strengths are we have Red Shirt Rookies. That is our Special Olympics Unified team. Great if you ever want to come out and see that take place. We just finished with flag football. We have basketball coming up, and then we'll have soccer in the spring. We do homework club. We have Land Sharks Running Club, and we just have a lot of students feeling safe, feeling like they belong in our school. So that is what we have for you this evening.
Thank you so much for that lovely presentation. Oak Creek has a special place in my heart, just because back in a previous life, I did environmental programming and I visited Oak Creek a lot. Am I allowed to ask questions? Is that all right? Okay, cool, awesome. Just want to make sure. Love all the participation from the students and love that roar chant. I would love to hear from you as students. What does respect feel like at Oak Creek?
Respect feels I don't understand the question.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. I totally put you on the spot. So what does respect mean for you when you're at Oak Creek?
Oh,
Like, what does it feel like?
it means I feel seen and heard when I'm given respect, and I feel safer and less threatened when I'm given respect, and I'm less nervous when talking in a bunch of nervous when talking in front of a crowd.
Absolutely. You're doing great. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
I enjoyed your entire presentation, but I just want to highlight the support at Oak Creek Elementary School slide. That slide really warmed my heart because our schools should be community hubs, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school. And I know you guys, you're a community hub. And when you get support and you're supporting each other, it just sounded like, you know, your parents support you, you support your parents, then there's some great things that will happen. I also want to highlight the fact that you brought to our attention your yellow orange, you know, which I'll call it yellow, but you acknowledge that yellow and red, and I skimmed through, and you infuse what you're working on in that daily writing, and not just writing, but you're intentional with your PCRs, and you're showing growth, and just keep up the great work. I know some days you may be exhausted, but you know they're worthy of our exhaustion. And so thank you so much, staff and admin team and children.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great presentation. I think one of the things that stuck out with me was the what I need time. I've never heard of that concept before, but it sounds like it's a lot of intentionality.
It
Can you
is.
elaborate on it just a little bit?
So it is called Win Time for short, and all of our students participate. What we do is we look at their data and we decide who needs what. So if you need, if you're a student that's really struggling with phonics, then we're going to put you in a group, and that's what we're going to be working on. If you are a student that is a high reader, you may be in an independent group where you're doing, you're reading a novel and you're creating something, or you're constructing some type of project to go along with that. So we try to touch all the kids for that 35 to 40 minutes, regardless of where they're at.
That's fantastic.
To piggyback off of what President Wills Hill said in my notes, I said that you all have the ability to see where support is needed. And then you have a program to execute and support those children that need it. And your staff seems to be so energetic and very willing to help our kids. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to recognize the staff. JJ, it's so true. Such a heartbeat of schools. Quick question. Curious about the food pantry, especially as Oak Creek really is that community hub and where you guys are moving towards. And I love the social programs that you have in place. Tell me about the situation with the food program or the pantry that's happening right now. Where food, what are the numbers like? Is there a continuous need? Is the need growing?
So what we have right now is it's very small, but I can tell you Genesis Church, they are the ones that really provide all of that for our families. And so our counselor will send something out, and if parents are in need, they respond directly to her. It's not, like publicized. And then they come in and they're able to select from the items that we have. We would love to have more, like fresh produce and things like that. We don't have that. Everything is pretty much whatever can be kept on the shelf is what they come in for. Thanksgiving, we did provide some Thanksgiving baskets to some of our families this year because we knew the need with the shutdown was great. So we made sure that we, as staff members, we put in money so that we could provide that for some of our families that needed it.
Thank you so much. And then if you don't mind, I do have one more question. In what areas, and again, I want to stress again, thank you so much for sharing the yellow and orange. It takes courage to really share that because and by doing that though, we are aware and we can help support in any way. What supports do you find are needed as a principal here at Oak Creek to really look at that could help enhance some of the efforts that you're putting forward to kind of raise those test averages and help support, students with disabilities, the multilingual students who are in that red?
I can tell you that one is attendance. If we can get our kids to school every day, it's going to make a difference. We know that they're going to get sick. This past week and the week before, our attendance was really low, but we had all kind of stuff flying through the air and kids and staff were catching that. But if we can get kids to school, we can provide them with that support that they need academically. I have on the far end there is Ms. Beth Allen, and she is one of my instructional paras who is phenomenal. She teaches small groups like nobody's business. So we just need to get them there. The way that our CLDE or our ML program is set up right now, having 2 people support the kids when they come in. If you're ever over by Oak Creek, I would encourage you to stop by and take a look because it's really powerful what happens in that classroom. Everything from the students checking in, using the zones of regulation to say, here's where I am. I feel I'm happy, I'm ready to go, and getting into phonics and getting into text and getting into writing. So it's pretty awesome.
Thank you so much.
That was really a great presentation. So we're going to bring up all the little ones, because we like to take a picture. And we have some things for them. Swing over to this side for me. Everybody, big smiles.
All right. Before I let my students go, I have 3 of them that wrote, they wrote something that they wanted to just read. It's brief, but it has power behind it. So I'm going to have, who's up first? Carlisle?
Yep. Yep.
Well, yeah, thanks. What Oak Creek means to me is a place where I could learn and make friends. I can have fun while learning. I have been at Oak Creek since preschool, and throughout the years, it has been a really great school. I have learned a lot and I have enjoyed it. Oak Creek has prepared me for middle school by having us take lots of notes and preparing us for stuff that will happen in middle school. Like we will have more than one kind of homework with all our classes in middle school. I will miss all the teachers that helped me learn and get ready for middle school. They have done a lot for me.
Uh, Oak Creek means to me, Oak Creek is family to me. I have been here for 4 years and each year has been great. I love it here and the school has given me my closest friends and answered tons of old questions I asked myself. I am very happy to be a part of the school and part of this activity. I am very grateful to be here. I am thankful for all the support I've been given and offered. This school has helped me improve my teaching and learning skills.
Hi, my name is Bailey Rogers. What Oak Creek means to me is Oak Creek is like so welcoming. The students and teachers. The day is always fun to do. For the past 5 years, the teachers were so nice and students are too. For the first time I came here, everyone was so welcoming. In Oak Creek, the teachers encourage you in your journey. If you come here, you will have a blast. This is the best school in my opinion. I always have a blast with the teachers. The way people are learning is amazing. When you come here, you will learn a lot. Every time a new student comes, I always welcome them into our school. If you come look at the classrooms, you will love it. Everyone is very smart and super creative. You will also have so much fun. I love Oak Creek and the teachers and the students. Oak Creek is the best school in my opinion. I love Oak Creek.
That was most excellent. So congratulations to you, Ms. Donaldson, and to all the students and staff that came out, teachers, the parents. Thank you all for coming this evening. We are moving on to item number 5. It is special recognition time. So on this evening, we are going to start off with the Harrison High soccer team. Woohoo! Their coaches are Bridger Stapleton and Jeffrey Menke. So tonight we would like to recognize the legacy of a team and particularly the seniors. They have accomplished a lot in the last 3 to 4 years, respectively, including 0 ineligible varsity players for 2025. Most wins in a regular season being 12 for the 2025 season. A combined varsity record of 44, 10, and 11 in their 4 years. First ever playoff win 2023 and first ever home playoff game 2025, and 3 times, not 1 time, 2 times, but 3 times league champions 2023, 2024, and 2025. These young men have led with discipline, commitment, and trust, and have inspired the underclassmen to set the bar even higher. So we want you all to come up and if you could just state your names, please, as you're coming up. Yeah, come on, Coach Stapleton. You can speak on their behalf as well.
Coach, can you come up and say a few words about your team?
In the microphone, sir. Yes. Turn the microphone on.
Yeah.
Hello. My name is Bridger Stapleton. I've had the honor to serve in District 2 for 13 years now as a teacher, and this was my 10th year as a coach, and my 3rd year as head of the program. When the board reached out, Dr. Burr-Hansel, thank you, to honor this team, the first people that I wanted to recognize were the seniors. I think the word legacy is the best fitting for this group. One of them is currently at practice, one's at a tournament, and one is helping his family. Avelo's food truck on the corner by Harrison High School. Excellent barbacoa, support local. But these 6 young men, I have seen them grow over the years, and it's not their accomplishments on the field that makes me proud. It is who they are as people. They keep me up at night, but they also allow me to sleep peacefully knowing you guys are going to enter the world with the values that you hold and what you've done as young men for Harrison High School. So for the parents out there, gracias por todos. Y estoy muy orgulloso por entrenador de equipo y tus hijos. So thank you guys for everything. And I also want to recognize, he's standing humbly in the back, Coach Jeff Mankey, who took this wild ride with us 3 years ago. He's been a great friend, a great mentor, and an even better coach. So we couldn't have done it without him either. And do you want me to introduce you guys? You want to come say hi?
Yes.
I'd like to introduce Senior Daniel Garcia. Senior Edwin Moncada. Senior Angel Lopez. Not with us tonight. Another captain with Edwin is Manuel Cuellar. We have Angel Gallardo. And also Jesus Avelos.
We wouldn't dare let this moment go by without having your principal come up and say some words. So come on, Mr. Vargas. Let's see if he cries. Too late.
There's not much I'm going to say. Bridger did a wonderful job. I think you just did this because you want to see me cry. We are so, there we go. Thanks, Coach. As a building, we are so proud of the team and proud of our seniors. And when Coach told me that we had zero players ineligible the entire season, that was almost as big as that win that took us to the playoffs and hosted the game. So I just want to let you guys know that. And I just want to share, this is big by you as a board allowing us to do this because this doesn't happen everywhere. So thank you, guys. I love you guys. Thank you. And that's all I got.
I just want to add that I was at the playoff game and there were some wrong calls. But regardless, you were professional. You were honoring what we want you to be in D2. And then for the next part, Norma, can you translate what I'm going to say? The soccer program is exactly what it should look like in D2. Your families are amazing support. When I look in the crowd and I see your families all up there, just you can say it. Okay, take a moment, translate that.
Okay, guys, can you say it again? I'm just kidding. En nuestro distrito estamos muy orgullosos porque el equipo de soccer que tienen en Harrison es el ejemplo que queremos seguir y que queremos tener por todos los equipos y todos nuestros estudiantes. Estamos muy orgullosos en todo que están haciendo y por eso queríamos reconocerlos y dar las gracias a sus papás también.
And Mr. Stapleton will be asked to help us create this feeling of a family in other sports, because what you've done in soccer is what we want in every sport.
El sentimiento que han tenido con el coach Stapleton es algo que queremos tener en todos los equipos de nuestro distrito. Otra vez, ese es el ejemplo para todos nosotros. Gracias.
All right, it's picture time again. And Mr. Vargas, there's no way that you're not in the picture. There's just no way.
Sí, queremos incluir las familias también.
Next, in our recognitions, it is the recognition of the Harrison High School Band. Members of the Harrison High School Marching Band are joining us this evening to celebrate the end of a very successful season. Yes, you can clap. The marching band season is one of the longest athletic seasons. I probably would get an amen if they were really churchy about it. Beginning in May and ending in November. Band members have worked tirelessly for the last 6 months to come together and put on an amazing show. The band placed second place at the CBA Southern Regionals event and finished 7th place overall at the CBA State Championships in Grand Junction at the end of October. The band is made up of students, get this, from Harrison, Sierra, Fox Meadow, Mountain Vista, Carmel, and Soaring Eagles, and includes students from 7th to 12th grade. The marching band will perform one more time in the Colorado Association of School Boards annual conference in December. At this time, we're going to welcome up Emma Lynn Latham, Cedar Harris, Gustavo Valdovines, Miles Lauritsen, Ignacio Martinez, Phoenix Mallow, Alejandra Hennessy, Ernesto Nunfio Lopez, Chloe Mendoza, Serena Mendoza, Erlyn Avalos, Sam Walthall, Diane England, Kaylee Purdy, Aaron Johnson, and Nicole Martin.
And Onyx Yandel and Jade Zarate. Is there anyone else? Is that everybody?
You know who
And
you
Nicole
are.
Martin,
Come on
everybody?
up here.
Oh, and Serenity Boone.
So we're going to hand out cups and then we're going to position you to take pictures. How's that?
Anyone else? Last call. All right.
Okay. You go on.
No, I did something.
Okay. Next, it is the recognition of Dakota Foundation Teacher Impact. So the Dakota Foundation awarded D2 funds to honor teachers who have been an outstanding influence on our students. The district reached out to principals and they recommended teachers, and the teachers were asked to fill out an application. This year we had 5 teachers who were selected from a group of their peers and students. They were each surprised and were presented with a $5,000 check. That's not a little change, that's some money. I mean, we can do some things with 5,000. Okay, so there are our D2 Impact Award winners. We have Christy Armstrong from Monterey Elementary. We have Dana Botalson from Sierra High School. We have Jessica Day Newman from Sand Creek International. We have Cassidy Iseman from Carmel Community School. And last but not least, it's Megan Graciosa from Giberson Elementary. So we're going to have everyone to come up, and actually we want to hear from our promise winners. So
And
come on.
Miss Bodelson is not here tonight.
Okay. So we're going to start with Christy Armstrong from Monterey Elementary. Speech.
Hi, I'm Christy Armstrong, Monterey Elementary. I teach 5th grade math and science there. This is my 7th year in the district. I started at Carmel Community School when it was the middle school. And I get to work with Miss Tunson over there. Thank you for coming tonight. It was a huge surprise. My son goes there as well. So he was crying during the surprise. It was great. So just want to say thank you. It was a nice little chunk of money. So it definitely is going far for Christmas.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, now don't go back to your seat. Just, yes, stay over there. All right, we have Dana Botalson from Sierra High School,
Who is not here tonight.
who is not here this
She
evening,
has an event with her children.
but excellence in every endeavor is here. Mr. Bodwin, you can speak.
Don't tease me with a good time.
I know.
So yes, you highlighted it. Our mission at Sierra is excellence in every endeavor, and Miss Bottleson has worn many hats in our building. She has been an English teacher, she's been a Spanish teacher, and now she has led our AVID program. And so the amount of kids that she has impacted, when we talk about preparing kids for the next stage of life and having options, preparing kids, teaching kids how to think and not what to think, that happens in an AVID classroom. Kids don't feel unseen. It catches kids in the middle of the road and really makes sure that they get that boost that they need. And so she's impacted hundreds and hundreds of kids, and nothing but good things to say, for sure.
Thank you. Next, we have Jessica Day Newman from Sand Creek International.
I'm much better in front of students than adults.
Just pretend for the
but yeah, I'm just really honored and thankful and was not expecting it at all. And thank you for those that came to support me, my cheerleaders, current cheerleaders. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Current and past cheerleaders, my admin team, and coworkers, and thank you.
Oh, you're going the wrong direction. Come back. Come back. Okay, Cassidy Iseman from Carmel Community School.
Hi, I'm Cassidy Iceman. I'm a first grade teacher at Carmel, as well as the gifted education facilitator. I have been in D2 my whole career, which has only been 3 years. But I plan on staying for a long time for the exact reason why I got this award, to impact students and the students who need me the most. And thank you for being here for me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And we have Megan Graciosa.
I'm Megan Graziosa. This is my 7th year teaching 2nd grade at Giverson and in HSD2. And I can say this has truly been a special place where I've been able to experience and also watch the kids learn and grow, but also grow as an educator. So it has been a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. One last thing, we're going to take a last picture with the board. Yes, and a picture with each of you with your supporters.
See me, it means I probably can see. Almost 3 years ago now. I know. I appreciate it.
That's what the, okay. So we are going to continue on with our board meeting. Thank you for those of you who are staying here with us. We are now at item 6. It is communicating with the board, and it is freshman programming. We have this evening Mr. Basalian from Sierra High School and Mr. Herfindahl from Harrison High School.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. I'm Keith Basalian. I'm an assistant principal at Sierra High School. We are very excited to share the work that we've been doing at both campuses for freshman success and what that means for the future of our students in D2.
Button do we hit here? All right.
It's green.
Okay. My name is Phil Herfindahl, assistant principal at Harrison High School. This is my 18th year and all at Harrison High School. And really grounded and found myself again in education, going back to where it all started 18 years ago and working with freshmen. And we're here to kind of expand on why freshman year is so important to the success of our students, not just that year, but also how it impacts their future. So it really starts with strong leaders. So we have Mr. Vargas, and then we also have Connor here. Sorry, I call him Connor. That's what I know.
That other guy.
That other guy.
Mr. Excellence in every endeavor.
Don't tease me with a good time, guy. So really, it started 5 years ago, and it was with Mr. Vargas. He comes back from a conference, and he said, and he met with a few individuals that were doing some freshman work across the country. And then he started to take a look at our data and eventually just came along and said, this is unacceptable. What are we going to do about it? And at that time, it was just based off of quarterly data, and then at the end of the year data, just tracking Fs, tracking attendance, which we'll get to data-wise, which was not great, to say the least. So really, it started 5 years ago with just strong leaders just saying, we have to change. Right? We have to think outside the box, and we have to do something different to support our students. And so now we're going to take you through our journey and how we progressed over the years, starting to look at that data as well as our partnerships. So on our during that 5th year, we kind of started digging into some research with a consortium based out of Chicago, the University of Chicago, who did a lot of work back in the early 90s and late 80s in regarding their graduation. They had the worst education system in the country at that time. So they started digging into their data of what year was the most important year. And then they really came across with their findings is the impact that the freshman year can have. And if you look at the data, students who finish 9th grade on track are 3 times more likely to graduate. So we started using that terminology of on track. And really what on track means is students receive no more than 1 F by the end of their freshman year. Right? I know that doesn't align necessarily with our high schools and graduation in credits, but really what it is, it's a mentality. What are you saying to freshmen? What are you saying to a young adolescent at 14, 15 years old? You're starting to say words with an F that say, you're unsuccessful. You can't learn. So really it's changing not just the mentality of our students with this on-track terminology, it's also we had to work on our teachers in shifting their mindset as they need to start thinking about, this is high school. This is where you start preparing for college. At 14, at 15 years old, really? Are we really preparing them for college at that age? Or can we train their mindset? Can we condition them to think in a positive manner about education and about being successful?
So they looked at all of the different indicators for success. And one of the things that they started to battle in Chicago Public Schools was, what are the real metrics? Are we looking at demographics? Are we looking at income? Are we looking at family situation? Are we looking at just where you happen to live and be born? Your natural circumstances? Are you an athlete? And they looked at all of those different things. And no matter how they put everything together, the thing that had the biggest indicator was that on-track metric. So if a student was on track, regardless of their demographics, their income, their family situation, where they might live, they were 80% more likely to graduate, whereas all the other factors combined that could have went their way was only 65% indicative of high school graduation. So when they looked at all of those things, they said, well, that's the ticket right there. That breaks down all the walls. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you do. It's what we can do about it to make you more successful, because we know if we can keep you on track that 9th grade year, if we can catch you early, put in our support systems, we are more likely to help you graduate from high school, which is the whole reason why we do this job, is to set kids up for success. And we know that starts with graduating high school.
So we started looking at like key performance indicators. So what are we going to do to start tracking? We talk about supporting our students. So really we started creating a dashboard in that 4th year when we started developing it. It took 3/4 of the year to develop this dashboard, to making sure, and we use systems with Infinite Campus so we can get immediate data. Instead of waiting until quarter data and waiting for the district to come out and say, here's your MTSS data. And we're really reactive, we're really behind at that point. So now we're on a system with these key indicators, with attendance and with our fail rate, course performance, that we can look at it weekly. And now we can start, yes, we're being reactive, but we're not so far behind that we cannot change our students' skill sets to make them perform at the level that we are looking at. I did.
So as we looked at those graduation rates, we looked at the big difference. So students that passed and got through high school or their freshman year with 0 course failures were 85% likely to graduate high school. Means that that's awesome. Like if you're going to take your money and go to Vegas, I'm putting my bet on that because that's incredible. So that's where we wanted to put it. Whereas students that had failed 2 courses, yes, we have OMI, we have our dropout preventionists, we have our interventions that we can put in. But we don't need those as much if we can catch them in that first year, which means we can really put our resources into that tier 1 instruction, tier 1 interventions, and catch those students early, which means we're going to be so much more effective and be better with our resources rather than trying to catch kids up, making them feel the pressure, dealing with home visits, dealing with potential court dates, things like that. We don't want to deal with those things. We want our students to just have opportunities to succeed. And what we really liked about this model is it's not just core classes. When we went to Chicago, a lot of the things that they focused on through that national freshman success was just core classes, students not failing cores. We don't agree with that. Both of us being coaches, both of us knowing how important athletics and activities are to our students in our district, we said that's not acceptable. And we reached out to the Center for High School Success. They include elective courses into that and those non-cores, which spoke to our souls. And so we include, when we talk about our dashboard and we talk about our students being on track, it's not just those core classes, it's every class. It doesn't matter if it's health or band or choir or theater or CTE, those courses matter and they matter to our kids. And it matters that we have great teachers teaching them that are on board with our vision and mission. And so we look at all of those things when we put together that idea for freshmen that every course matters. It's not just math and English for SAT, it's everything that you do.
So as we continue to look at the data, you guys can see that failing 9th grade, you're just, again, taking it out of the students mentally. And what are you saying to them? So when we are talking about on track, this is what we like to present to our students. And this is what we like to present to our families at the beginning of the year, showing them how important their freshman year is and building those systems that are going to support their students. Because that's the biggest question when you start presenting this data in front of parents. So what are you going to do? What are those systems going to look like? And I think it's we've used this data to really drive home those systems as we talk about them in our roadmap here.
So we really believe in attendance matters. And I know the district has a huge push for that right now, especially through our student support at the district office. Every student, every day, every class period. And you saw that with Oak Creek, how much they are pushing attendance and have those trackers. We believe in the same thing. And so our students who have 4 or fewer absences by the end of the year, their graduation rate is 91%. We know that students that show up graduate high school. Our teachers are there to support the kids. It's really hard to support a kid that's not sitting in the seat. We can do everything we can to get students there, but just being transparent with parents about, hey, I know it only feels like a day here and a day there, it really starts to add up. And when students get to that 15 to 19 absences, which means they've missed 3 to 4 weeks of school throughout the course of the year, they only have a 73% graduation rate, which for us is unacceptable. We want a 100% graduation rate. So everything we can do and to take those first steps of just pushing every day that you can be at school. Again, we get it. Kids get sick. We're all busy. And, you know, if you're playing a soccer game and it's 28 degrees, you're going to get sick. We understand. But when you keep it to 4 or fewer and we really prioritize being in the seat and learning and engaging in that, we know our kids are going to be more successful and we have more opportunities to engage and intervene with them.
So our reality is sitting at 73%. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, we have amazing attendance. This is an area across the state that we are working on chronic absenteeism. So, but this is great for us to echo to parents and share with them. This dashboard that tells us where our attendance is at and how many courses these students are failing allows us to, again, support these students and build the systems in, instead of creating in teachers' minds, that kid never shows up. That's why they're failing. No, it shows they are still likely to graduate. They are still likely to pass, even if they are sitting at 73%, because we have the data in front of you that we're able to support the kids. And it's amazing to be able to sit in front of a teacher and take away all those little barriers that they assume, right, that are coming out and saying, you know what? Okay, I guess I got to do something now. But we provide them the systems that are going to support those students.
And so the crazy thing is students are really great at showing up to school in middle school. And I know some of the data doesn't show that, but students are 4 times more likely to miss days of school and have 4 times more absences in 9th grade than 8th grade. And we asked ourselves, why? Well, why is that? And the unfortunate reality is a lot of our 14-year-olds are hanging out with 17 and 18-year-olds that have cars that might have gaps in their schedule. It's just easier to leave campus. We have 4 times as many students as most of the middle schools, and we have 10 times as many exit doors, that's for sure. And so it's hard to keep track of students. And so being able to be transparent and say, hey, I know it's easier to miss school. It matters more that you don't miss school. So as hard as it is to miss school in middle school, yes, it matters to be there. It matters even more in high school where your credits count, where you start really digging yourself a hole for your future. We need you to invest now. We need you to make that tough choice. We need you to choose to be in school and to be on campus rather than taking the easy choice and going and hanging out with your friends. Save that for 2:51 p.m. after we get done. We need you here. We need you to not go off campus during lunch. It's so important.
So again, with all that data, there needs to be a system that has been put in place. And through our partnerships, we have now grounded ourselves with Center for High School Success. They're currently in 9 different states, and they're expanding rapidly at this point in time, and the partnerships just continue to grow. So this is their roadmap to success. So we basically, every school has the autonomy to take that roadmap and implement it as they see fit. And you'll see that as we get to Harrison and Sierra, how we've implemented the roadmap and what works for us compared to Sierra and other schools. As when we attended the conference, we were hearing what Washington does, Indianapolis does, what Arizona does. So every school has, and that's what I love, they have the choice of how they want to implement their success for 9th grade. And then with that, they just support you along the way and help think of areas that you're not implementing well or where you can improve in. So here's a quick glimpse at what we have created over the past few years at Harrison High School. You asked the question, why? Why are they more likely to skip class or not attend? We have to create that. They are coming from 3 years or even 8 years of that same consistency, and they left their middle school or K-8 school saying, we're the big dogs. And now they're going to walk into a school that's double or triple the size. So what type of environment are you creating? So really what we've worked on is that data piece, and we talked about the dashboard, and I can't stand up here and say I've done this all myself. I got to give a big shout out to Chris Mason, who is our 9th grade dropout preventionist, who's really worked with the district and Keith and all our partnerships to create a dashboard that we have immediate data. The other thing, highly effective 9th grade team at Harrison High School. We've done what we call our freshman academy, where we've really cohorted our freshmen to be able to support them and try to create that middle school environment where there's one hallway to walk, right? They know where the nearest restroom is, the nearest water fountain, and just creating that support that they have. It takes, again, a principal that's going to dedicate the amount of the FTE that it's going to take to support this work. So we have, we've developed 3 houses, and each house has a core teacher in there to be able to track their 75 to 100 students and have authentic conversations using that data. We've also developed First 10, where every single time a student goes into a classroom, they will see the first 10 minutes will be the same. They'll start with homework and housekeeping, they'll move into their warm up, and then after that, they go through their learning target. That should take 10 minutes. So every single freshman gets that consistency then when they walk into those doors. Which leads us now to interventions. This has really allowed us to go deeper into tier 2 and tier 3 interventions, and focus on those students that may be on off track or getting to that point. So we really keep a close eye on all those students that may have 1F, and then after that, we'll focus on those kids that may have 2 to 3. It's allowed us to now move into empathy interviews, have focus groups, as well as student talk protocols where our teachers sit down, they look at the data, and they talk about not what their attendance is, not what their passing rate is. They're talking about what skills are these kids missing, because we're able to get to know them on a deeper level, as well as been able to develop higher quality instruction with our 4 domains, our weekly FA meetings that focus on tier 1 as well. And this has also allowed us to develop a system where we're now sending out weekly, what we call attendance and grade reports to families. So that's been something is like, oh, elementary, they get every single thing. There's a folder that comes home every single week and you're pulling those papers out and it's like high school. What are we doing here? So it's allowed us to develop some great systems with our dashboard.
So having been at Harrison for 14 years as a band teacher, and then seeing that transformation from not having a freshman academy to having a freshman academy, and then shifting over to Sierra High School, it was the big question for me is what does this, or what could this look like at Sierra? We knew how important it was. Mr. Baldwin and I went to Chicago and immersed ourselves in that information and that data, and we realized it was important. We looked at the history of the school. They had tried a freshman academy in that new wing before. Didn't have a lot of success with it. There's a lot of reasons why, but just wasn't successful. And so we really took a deep dive and a deep look into what is the culture in the family and the community at Sierra High School, what's going to fit that. And so we decided to take a slightly different approach. We do not have like an enclosed freshman area, and we are working on developing a freshman team a little bit more to resemble a little bit more of what that team looks like at Harrison, based on their leadership. But we do have a lot of the same things. We leverage our MAPS and NWEA data incredibly well. We use all of that right in the beginning of August, and immediately that helps students to be identified for what math interventions they're going to need and what reading interventions they're going to need. We use 2 different models with that. We have a dedicated reading interventionist at our school, which is unusual for a high school, but we saw a huge need for it. We have about 68% of our students that come into high school 3 grade levels or more behind in reading, which we know is just the biggest barrier to anything. You can't even solve a math word problem if you can't read the problem. So we wanted to make sure that our students were getting that. And so we have 2 freshman seminar teachers. One is our freshman TOSA, and one is our dropout preventionist. That was one of the few things that I put my foot down on with Mr. Bodwin, as I said, I need the dropout preventionist to be with me more off like half the time or more, especially at the beginning of the year, because our goal is to work her out of a job. We want to do freshman success so well that we don't need a dropout preventionist at some point. So by being able to leverage her and our freshman TOSA, they teach 3 sections of freshman seminar each. And then our reading interventionist actually teaches 3 sections of freshman seminar to embed all of that content and those soft skills with organization, advocacy, how to construct an email, all of those great things, but does it through the lens of reading intervention. So how can we do this through reading? Our math interventionist pulls students from the freshman seminar classes for 40 minutes at a time based on specific skills. And we do a backwards model. So we know what the math teachers are going to be teaching for the next week or 2. And our math interventionist is teaching those skills so students can feel successful in class. Our goal is not to remove students from the class to do intervention, it's to empower them and give them the skills so they can engage on level with their peers. Math is even worse. We have 86% of our students coming in 3 grade levels or behind in math. So what are we doing to help get those students ready to engage on grade level in math classes every single week? And we rolled this out the first week of school. I said, freshmen, I don't care if you score 1% or the 99th percentile on your NWA maps. If you have a skill deficit that's going to hold you back, we are going to intervene. So I need you to get on board and I need you to go with Mr. Ellis when it's time to do math intervention. And it's been incredible this year. We revamped that model. It's been really strong. I'm a big data person. Mr. Baldwin's a huge vision person. So with our powers combined, this is where we've been going with it. We have PLCs that we meet monthly as a grade level. We're looking at revamping our master schedule next year based on what we learned at our conference last week, so we can have our core departments have common plans, and then also have our 9th grade team teachers have a common plan as well. So we're going to do some more data analysis and a little bit more team talk next year to merge those two models. But for this year, every single month we meet, we look through the dashboard data, and then we break into 3 subgroups for behavior, attendance, and grades. And those groups look at the trends, they look at the data, they figure out what we need to do systematically as a tier 1 intervention. And then the teachers create the plan. They're the ones that have to be with the kids every day and figure out what that looks like. They know what's effective more so than I do. I want to know what the teachers are going to do and what they believe is going to be the difference. And they put that plan into place, which is great because our teachers have huge ownership in that process. We have a robust MTSS system as well at the school that helps to catch some of those students that are falling through the gaps. And so because of the dashboard, we're able to identify students that have great grades but terrible attendance, figure out why that is. Or students that have great attendance but terrible grades. Why is that? And everywhere in between. So being able to have that data breakdown and be able to isolate exactly what a student needs academically is incredible. We're moving to add empathy interviews second semester with our students so that way we can understand the soft skills and where they feel like their deficits might be outside of the classroom, so we can better support those needs with our community connections coach, Mr. Johnson. We want to make sure that our students, like we said, attendance matters. If there's things that's keeping them from coming to school or they're coming to school distracted, we want to be able to solve those problems as well. And being able to have more resources is only going to be able to do that.
All right, so the proof is in the pudding, right? The proof is in the work. So I'm going to just kind of take a look. As you look at the data, this is, I really look at 22, 23 as like year 0. We didn't have the houses. We didn't have anything really in place. We just had a principal that says, you know what? Just do it. He gave us the FTE and we just threw, as much as we could at it and just said, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And that year we also had our largest freshman class. So we weren't really prepared for that amount. But then we learned over the years and we've developed more and more systems. So this is our on track rate for Q1. So you'll look at 22, 23, we didn't even have the dashboard and we could only have our on track data at the end of the year. And we ended the year with 44% of our freshmen on track. And remember, that is having no or just 1 F to finish the year. So we had 44% on track. That means math-wise, 56% of our kids were off track. And you just saw the data of what that means, 3 times less likely to graduate. Fast forward 4 years. Now we finished Q1 with 83% of our students on track. I got goosebumps. Sorry, I'm gonna pause. Woo! So and that below is kind of like a snapshot of what that dashboard kind of looks like. But I'm going to share one of the best schools that is partnered with Center for High School Success, and they're a showcase school, Camelback High School in Arizona. They have a very similar population to us, but they're double the size. They're sitting at like 2,000 or 2,200 kids, very similar population, and they are transient. They come from all over, and it's a public school. And they finished Q1, and this is year 6 or year 7. They finished Q1 with 91% on track. So Pete looked at me. We're sitting while their principal's presenting. He's a great dude. He's a great presenter. And he looked at me. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat them. And that's what I love about him. And he'll throw everything, just like that principal did, threw everything into their freshman success to make sure that those kids are ready for the next level. And what's amazing, which I'm excited for down the road, is we're going to start seeing the impact in test scores, graduation, and different things like that. Right now, we're just talking about freshmen. Year 0, Aiden's a part of it. He will be the first official. We didn't have a lot of those systems in place, but moving forward, when we started developing those systems, then all of a sudden we'll see those trends start trickling in, and that's when we'll start really tracking graduation rate and test scores.
So I'm not nearly as patient as Phil. I like to do things a little bit more quickly. So last year we went to Chicago and I said, cool, we're doing this dashboard from day one. I just want to know the numbers. I want to know where we're at because I need some honesty and some reality. And so our first year last year, we were at a 61% on track rate, which I felt really good about. I was like, cool. He shared with us his on track rate from his first year. I was like, yeah, good for us. Woo! Which felt really good. And so I did some digging. I didn't put it up there, but I believe we were at about 46 to 48% on track for the year before, trying to just go through Infinite Campus. And we know how that does going a year in review, so no idea how accurate it was. But we knew we had made some gains just from doing some freshman seminar, from doing some intentional push. And so at that point I said, well, how high can we push this thing then? Because if that's our starting point, if that's what we can do with a little bit bare bones, what happens from there? Connor came to me at about second semester and said, this is cool. Tell me more about this. And so we did a bigger dive into what the dashboard looked like and what it could be. And now we have a dashboard for every single grade level in the school. We use it for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And we use that in our grade level PLCs for the entire building. So we saw, well, he saw and had the vision of what this looked like for freshmen already, just in a small microcosm, and said, what could this do for our entire school? So we now are healthily competitive amongst grade levels in terms of which class has the best attendance, the best grades, the highest on track rate. And it's been really positive to see students kind of push each other, because we did our class meetings at the same time virtually. So all the students were in their advisory classrooms last month. And it was interesting listening in the halls, and kids were talking about the data. And so when you have kids that are excited about seeing a 74% on track rate in just year 2 and being able to celebrate that and highlight the students that are on the honor roll, that are in that 90% up attendance, and own that and be excited about it, it creates a buzz in the building that's just going to continue to snowball. So we're excited. We have a lot more freshmen this year than we did last year. And to have that many students that are earning a 3.0 or better at the end of the first quarter, we know that when they have a 3.0 or better, they are going to be so much more prepared for college. To know that our freshmen in 4 years are going to be graduating in a much better place than they were 4 years ago is incredible. And I'm really proud of that and what we're doing as a school to make that happen.
All right, goals moving forward. Really, we've set goals for ourselves of 80. We're looking at 80% attendance or higher and 80% on track. So that is one of our goals as we are moving forward, as well as
we want to be at least a minimum of 50% MGP for math and reading on the MAPS NWA test. We know that students are going to come in wherever they come in. We can't control that as a high school, but we can control what they do when they walk through our doors. So what are we doing to meet them, push them, grow them? We were just slightly below that in math at Sierra High School, but much above that in reading. So that's our, I guess I should have retitled this instead of saying goals. I should have said baseline, because these are non-negotiables. If we're anywhere below this, then we're not doing our job well to lead our teams well. And so if our students aren't at least growing at the same rate that they should be compared to their grade level peers across the nation, we're doing something wrong.
With strong systems comes strong implementation. So what also this has now started to allow us to do is start looking at specific grouping and how we are supporting our students. You know, could we all group a similar based off of ICAP and based off of their Zello? Like, can they all be in the same freshman seminar? So now that the systems are in place, we can start using other data to strategically group our students, and then also get them into the areas that, oh, I see that you're interested in engineering. Let me allow you to spend some time with our engineering teachers. Start preparing them for that engineering pathway. So really, it's just allowed us with strong systems, allows us to start now grouping kids where they truly need to be and where they fit, so they can move forward in their education.
We also know that teachers make the biggest difference. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we stay in D2. We know that D2 prepares teachers to be better than in any other district throughout the state. And we know that keeping them helps our students to develop relationships. Our students are incredibly relational. That's so important to our community. And we believe that that's really powerful to helping understand the basic needs of students and how to meet those academically, socially, emotionally, so they can reach their full potential. And so our goal is to continue to retain our teachers, invest in them so that they can invest in our students.
So just like our freshmen, Keith and I are all gas, no brakes. And that's it. You have to be to work with freshmen because not everybody is fit to work with freshmen, but you got to find the right teachers and you got to find the right administrators that are going to see this through. And we invite any of you to come and walk through our freshman classes, academy, walk through Sierra and all the systems that they have in place. And you really got to see it in action. Because right there, that's just a whole bunch of words and numbers. So we invite you. We would love to have you to kind of see the work in progress. But with that being said, any questions, thoughts,
I
comments?
just want to share, you know, teachers do make the biggest difference, but the second biggest difference is who leads those teachers. And board, what you didn't hear from these gentlemen is this was a big mindset shift for high school folks. This is what elementary people do every day. High school people don't do that. This is a whole different way of how you're going to run your high school. And ninth grade might be different than 10th grade, and that's just going to cause all problems. And we have this lunch and this lunch, and there's a million excuses why you don't do this. Our kids are why we do this. It is expensive. I will tell you, we spend a lot of money going into ninth grade, but it's an investment up front so they graduate on time and it pays off for society. So please know they made it sound like it was easy work. They had many conversations with staff getting their minds around it. The principals have been through their own learnings around it and where they're going back and forth and making it work. But that's what I love about D2 is we said we got to do better. And we know that the research tells us ninth grade's the trigger point. So why aren't we doing something different? They each are taking different routes and we're getting good results both places. But these two are doing an amazing job. That's why they're presenting and not Rachel or I, because they're the experts. We tasked them with fix this problem and they're doing above and beyond what we could have even imagined. So congratulations to both of you, because that is not an easy task.
Yeah.
I have a question about the freshman academy at Harrison. So you said it's kind of supposed to mirror 8th grade. So I was just wondering what that shift is like from freshman year to their sophomore year, if their freshman year is kind of treated like another 8th grade year.
Question. Pete, do you want to come up in it? No, I'm just kidding. No, that is huge because this, I think our systems have become so strong. We're starting to have sophomores come back and like it feels good. It warms your heart to say, can I be back in this hallway? Even though they fight the entire time to get out of this hallway. It's the teachers that created that environment, but that is something that we need to work on. And we've actually floated the idea out there. It's right there that we have started talking about doing the same model in our 10th grade. And find a set of teachers, very similar as you heard, like elementary, 2 teachers, every single area, and start using the same data, start having the same conversations. And it really starts at the beginning of the year. And that's where we kick it off with the mission and vision and creating that mindset with our teachers, but really starting that with our sophomore year, because that is a curve because we did mimic it. We have very similar, we used to, now that our middle schools have shifted a little bit, but we have like 55-minute classes. And I know middle school is transitioning, so we have to start looking at our schedule that way. But that's what we're trying to do is help bridge that next gap. It's like bridging the gap between 8th and 9th grade, 9th to 10th grade. And then eventually when it gets so good, 10th to 11th, seniors, they're just on their own after that. Great question though. Connor.
Great question. Love that question. More of instead of a question of thought, I would like to say a quick reflection on my experience of Freshman Academy, because that was my first year, and the transition was actually crazy because while it might be cluttered because it was one of the largest freshman classes that you ever witnessed, the hallways are crammed, getting to class was a little hard. But the thing I liked the most about this, as I think was briefly mentioned, is the relationships that were built during that time. I think I found some of my best friends in freshmen because I was able to stick with my community and not go out in the upperclassmen hallway, because I can, whenever it's passing period for freshmen, I would be able to talk to my friends in the hallway. Then once the 1-minute bell rings, I was able to keep on talking with them. And I would just greatly appreciate that I won't be able to say, hey, meet me up in the 500s or the 600s or the 800s, but it says, just meet me here in the hallway. And then that's perfect. And since we have our own separate lunch too, we could just continue those conversations. So as Freshman Academy helps out with attendance and make sure that kids are on track to graduate, it also helps build relationships that are needed.
Good job. Mr. Vargas will buy you lunch tomorrow. Thank you, Aiden.
Had a question for the freshman program at Sierra. I love the fact that the students who need that additional support are not pulled from a core class, but they're pulled from seminar. But what's occurring in seminar for the students who do not need to be pulled?
That's a great question. And so we have robust planning and a full curriculum. The teachers at both schools got together this summer and revamped the entire freshman seminar curriculum and the scope and sequence. We use a ton of different resources. We're partnered with the Olympic Committee to do the character strong. Thank you. No, different thing. Be your personal best. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Loffer. And so we have extension activities, if you will. And so the students who are being pulled for intervention are not missing out on any of the core programming and content. All of that is covered when those students are there. We're very intentional about what those times look like between the two teachers. So one might do the core main juice of the lesson in the beginning because they know intervention's happening at the end, whereas it might be flipped and they might be doing check and connects and goal setting and grades, attendance reflections, makeup work, whatever that might be, and then getting into the core content of that LCL growth, emailing a teacher, advocating for themselves, learning about self-regulation strategies, understanding how to organize a planner, things like that, that are going to be lifelong skills because we know that our students are going to be much more equipped with that.
For sure. Thank you for that because I just thank you, Sierra, for seeing. You know, I always say Harrison, same quilt, different patches. And so I thank you. You know, yours looks different, but your goals are the same. And as a granny of a freshman boy, who Lord knows village is really circling around that one. But this is a bright kid who didn't have to think too much. Now he's a student athlete with a lot going on. And so I applaud your program. I applaud your teachers who respond. That actually did not happen when my girls were in as quickly as they responded to his emails. And so I thank you for the work that Wendy described and the work that you shared with us.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Pretty much all the questions I had were answered by these incredible questions. So thank you. Thank you. I love this program. I think it's so great that this is data responsive. Especially, I can also attest like working with some 9th grader boys. Yeah. That's a transition, there's some growth going on. You mentioned before that there was like a possibility of maybe even grouping some students based on their desires of what career or interests or things like that. How do you determine that with kind of a freshman class? I know you get 8th grade data. How do you determine that and work with the students regarding that?
So it's interesting because Phil and I both also work with CTE super closely at the high school level for what that programming looks like. We're working very diligently with the middle schools. We've developed a lot of, well, not us, Nick Williams and Dave Jarboe have been working on developing CTE pathways through the middle schools. And so those students are having a lot of exploration conversations, a lot of opportunities, a lot of what does this career look like and what are those pathways? So students can explore those early, understand those interests. And so then when our counselors go and do registration in February with them at the middle school, they've already done ICAP, they've done Zello, they've had these experiences at the middle school and can say, cool, I am really passionate about the health sciences industry. So we can take that cohort of students that are coming to either school and say, awesome, we have a teacher that's passionate about health sciences. We're going to put you in their freshman seminar course, and we're going to put you in the same cohort for all 4 of your core classes. So you will have a like interest in math, English, science, and social studies, and we can slightly tweak that lens as we go through. So the ultimate vision is to be able to find out what those passions are, and obviously it's going to be fluid. College students change their major 3-4 times throughout the course. We know our high school students are the same, so they're not stuck in a track. But we want to make sure that if they know there's a pathway they're interested in, whether it's health sciences, whether it's construction, automotive, it doesn't matter. We want to make sure that they're cohorted with students who have similar passions and a teacher that can help develop those passions and speak to it from a professional level.
Ditto.
Beautiful.
And
Okay.
we at Harrison, we teach freshman seminar all the same period. So all of our freshman teachers also take on the freshman seminar workload. So it doesn't matter. We don't have any dedicated teacher to it. So there's been a lot of work, but that will all us, excuse me, will allow us to move students where they need to be moved by teaching it all in the same period for us. So, but well said.
Thank you. Another question that I had, and thank you so much. What I love hearing about this is how, like, because of this program, which sounds like it's costly, but what it's doing is creating this holistic view of a student, connecting them from these different transitions, working with middle schools, right? It's not this separate. I love this. I love this a lot. My question is, do you incorporate students with IEPs as part of this freshman seminar? And are they included like in the general class, or are there more focused attention needs? Just curious. Thank you.
At a Harrison, they're embedded in. You will not be able to walk into a classroom and see which classroom is different. We don't disaggregate and just say, you're all in IEPs, you're here, or anything like that. So if they're, like we were saying, if they're interested in health science, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are in health sciences when we get to that level. And what's nice about freshman seminar and the systems that we've developed is 1 day a week, we use a system which kind of helps support us, and Sierra and other schools in the district, it's called Securely. What we've embedded is called travel days. So when we give our kids our ag reports, so the kids can sign up and get 1 day a week, they sign up and then they travel on Thursday to access whatever teacher they need. So that's been a big game changer. I will say the freshman seminar, even though very difficult to integrate and get going, especially when you have 12 teachers teaching it at the same time. But there's been great systems that have been put in place that's also supported our students where we didn't have to pull them out, like Keith was saying, and so they missed their elective or core classes in order to support them.
The nice thing at Sierra, again, we don't have the same model. Our students are everywhere. Ms. Apodaca works with our special education team, and we have an incredible push-in program right now. So all of our students who have IEPs and extra supports, when they're students that have specific needs that need extra support, we have an extra adult, a paraprofessional that will push in with that student. And we have some of our main special education teachers that are not even paras that are also pushing in to help support those students. We have a co-planning model where those teachers will work together with the main teacher. So if I'm an Algebra 1 teacher and I have freshmen, I might have another teacher that's coming in to support on certain class periods, and it's all responsive to the students that are going to be in that classroom, so we can make the biggest difference in the most amount of time.
And I also failed to mention, this is the first year that we did it. And again, this is just a principal that's willing just to say, whatever you need is we now have a dedicated special education teacher in our 9th grade. They only work with 9th grade. That is their caseload. So we have access to it. It has helped immensely when we do our student talk and we're talking about interventions to have that voice there. And then also we have a dedicated CLDE teacher for our 9th grade. So we're throwing it at Harrison, we're throwing in those resources to make sure that 9th grade student is supported on all levels.
Thank you so much. This is truly visionary. Thank you.
I do have a question. At Harrison, for 4th and 8th period, how does that work for Freshman Academy? Because I do see freshmen walking around the octagon, but they.
Yeah, why, Aiden, you're supposed to control that. But anyway, sorry. So the model started, we needed to really mimic middle school to help support them as they transition. So when we did it, we built 4th and 8th period for their electives with the goal of let's get them into a class that they hopefully will enjoy when they enter to the block schedule. So that's when at Harrison, they get a chance to explore the entire school, get lost, but explore the entire school, but hopefully be in a class that they're going to enjoy for an hour and a half versus otherwise. So that's how the model at Harrison is working. If they get out of line, come see.
My question is, one of your slides alluded to demographics and what has been done in the past, but this program doesn't just look at the data as far as their socioeconomic status, their the norms. You go all around that and it works, but we tend to always focus in on if the student, we know by third grade whether a student's going to graduate, things like free and reduced lunch, things like that. And that's always bothered me because I feel that these students, all of them have a gift. We just have to know how to get there. So anyway, that said, one of your slides also alluded to a boy kickoff meeting. What is that about?
Beginning of year. Sorry, I think that was.
Oh,
That's just for the boys.
Not just for the boys, sorry.
you know where I was going.
I do.
You know where I was going.
No, the girls rule the school anyway, so.
Beginning of the year. Thank
Yes, beginning of year. And so we have intentional programming and all of our freshmen come a day before the rest of the school. And so the freshmen have the lay of the land for a day and it's wonderful. We're able to create the programming that we want for that day. But to speak to your first point, the great thing about this dashboard is it does break apart demographics data. It breaks apart which students are CLDE students and which students have IEPs, male versus female. And so we can really take a look, not just at data for whether you're passing and which courses those might be in, but where do we have equity practices that are failing? Where do we have engagement strategies that are falling short? Where do we have inclusion and scaffolding instruction that's falling short? So we can have more intentional conversations about, hey, why are our Hispanic students failing at a higher rate? Or why are our male students failing at a higher rate? Why are our CLDE students failing at a higher rate? In not only just in general, but also in certain classes. So then as administrators, we can go have those tough conversations with certain teachers of, hey, you've got 30% of your students who are attending 80% of the time failing. Can you help me understand what that looks like in your class? What supports do you need? Where can we help you to find that gap? Or is this just an awareness where you're trying to look at 6 different grade books that each have 30 kids in them? You can get lost in those numbers. And so for us to be able to take that, break it down and make it more simple so we can talk to teachers about, here's the trends we're seeing, not just building wide, but also in your classroom. How can we better support you? It's also going to help with that teacher retention and more effectiveness. So we're able to have a more targeted approach.
You get to go.
100%.
Look, we've had trouble with acronyms in this district since we were elected, so I'm sorry.
Thank you. As always, you've exceeded our expectations. My daughter's a 2020 graduate of Harrison High School. And at that time, there was just the AVID program, but there was a lot to unpack as far as what the success rate would be, starting with that freshman class to get to that day of graduation. And then the pandemic happened. So I guess that brings a sidebar. Are you still having to deal with the residuals of the pandemic? Are you seeing that as part of things that you're yet overcoming, or are we all past that at this point?
Personally, I think we're past it. I really try to avoid any time that is brought up of, oh, it's COVID. And I think really it is the dashboard and the immediate data and breaking down that barrier and providing the resources that we need for families. That's what it was. And then when you look back of, yeah, there was a little bit of that residual, but now that we have the data and we're pushing everything aside, just say, here you go, and here's your supports, and here's how we can act on that data. I truly feel this would have helped speed up our recovery from the pandemic.
Sure.
I also want to shout out, I know that during the pandemic, students became glued to their phones. It was their only access to their peers. It was their only access to their friends. And I want to commend the exec team for saying, no, we're putting phones away. Like, that's just a thing. And we were terrified of what that was going to look like and what that battle was going to be. But it's been incredible. And we've noticed a huge difference in culture, not just in our freshman classes, but, and we were talking about it at the conference, even just lunchrooms. Kids are keeping their phones away and having real conversations, and being able to see what that's done in the school to the culture and having students engage in learning, I think has helped snap out of like that old COVID mentality of having students really engaged face to face and becoming more comfortable with that rather than just relying on social media and Snapchats.
And I'd be remiss to not answer that question in a different way. They're answering it like that because we don't use COVID as an excuse, right? We don't allow excuses. I don't care what reason you didn't learn. I don't care. Our kindergartners are coming in with the biggest gaps we've ever seen in this district. And so we do have a gap issue when we have kindergartners coming in at the level they're coming in, and we have to turn them around and get them to be fluent readers by 3rd grade and then send them to middle school and then high school. It does have a trickle effect. And you do only have so many hours with our students, and hopefully they stay with us and they don't move to other districts. And then they have the supports at home. But I think the biggest thing that I've seen in my time, and you heard it from both of them, is attendance matters. So even if you don't know how to read, come to school and we will help you learn how to read. We need you in school, and that is the biggest thing that we can change in our community.
Kudos to you both. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. I know we have someone here who's taking pictures, but I'm hoping that this story is being captured because it is very, very something that we are very, very proud of. And I would love for the rest of the world to know what's happening in D2. So thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so now we are going to item 7 for public public comment. So members of the public who desire to address the board on any topic related to board work are welcome to do so at this time. Speakers must limit their remarks to not more than 3 minutes or appoint a spokesperson if the concern is a group concern. Personal attacks will not be allowed. Focus on an individual by name and or position with the district will end a speaker's comment time period. The board will not respond to any public comment in substance. We will review the information presented and provide responses as needed at a later time. So at this time, we have Mrs. Kimberly Murray. You're from the Shadley Foundation. And so if you could just state your name, and you have Ms. Norma who will give you the time period. So at this time, the floor.
Give this folder to you all to get what I already have written.
Give it to Norma.
And then pass it in.
Yep. Okay. We won't start your time till you get back.
You said something about state something, just go ahead and go.
State your name, your address, and your home school, please.
All right, my name is Kimberly Griffin Murray. We used to attend Oak Creek Elementary, but we are transferring to Stratton Meadows Elementary. You can reach me at theshaleyfoundation.com. Good evening, board members. Thank you for allowing us this time. I'm a resident of this district, advocate, and a community social worker. But most importantly, I am the parents of Shaylee and Cheyenne, a first grader with disabilities, and Cheyenne, a kindergartner. I'm here tonight to not attack individuals, but to bring awareness to the district about wide changes and awareness for accountability and community connection solutions for how we protect children with disabilities and abuse and neglect in our schools. According to the National Child Abuse and Neglect, children with disabilities are 70% higher of maltreatment issues. National Institution of Health also stated that tendencies among teachers and those they are unwilling to report or do not report abuse in the school. It really means that we have a systematic gap and we should not ignore it. As a community social worker and the founder of the Shaley Foundation, I believe schools do need to work together with community and those that have the lived experiences so that we can be a collective support. And let me just be clear, I will always continue to stand up and be present and advocate for communities because children deserve more and the silence needs to be heard. And I'm calling on every family member, caregiver, and community member who's impacted by this system and to stand with me to demand change in our school and district. My call for action is clear: effective ongoing training for staff to support children with disabilities and their families in programs that have special education. Professional training to recognize the issues that are pertaining to abuse caused by harm projected by teachers and other staff members onto children. Training opportunities for families and caregivers if they choose to learn about what's the signs of child abuse and neglect in the school. And I would like to see clear visible signs in the schools showing how parents and communities can connect to outside resources to report child abuse and neglect. Colorado for Kids. Clear accountability for children and with their dignity that
Have 30
safety
seconds.
prepares. Transparency amongst the community. The school should know and tell the community how many of our children in our school are being abused by those that are in position. Children with disabilities often cannot speak for themselves and they rely on the system to protect them. When that system fails, the community feels that. Tonight, I am standing here not only as a mother, but as an advocate asking the district to do better, to definitely change and do what is
Your
right.
time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Murray. We are going to be back in touch with you. So thank you so very much.
Appreciate you guys.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to, we have item 7.2 this evening. And it is the report out by the school board representatives, the student representatives. So we have Mr. Aiden Gallegos. If you would like to start, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while it's late, I still have the energy of a little child, but that's okay. So I'm thankful to be here and for you guys to be in the audience to hear what I'm about to say. Personally, today, I would like to talk about our peer mediation program and what we're going to be currently doing. So if you don't know, I'm part of Peer Mediation, which is which is a program in our school that helps out freshmen, like how Mr. Herpendahl was presenting. We incorporate ourselves with the freshmen and be able to understand them and be able to build relationships for them to prepare themselves in high school for sophomore, junior, and senior year. And I would like to talk about how we're planning on doing a big video on how we're going to represent our peer mediation program and how to get more support, as this is a very strong program. One big thing is that we're focusing largely on trying our best to be able to narrate and show a video that represents how we do restorative justice, as our goal is that to instead not result to suspension, in-school suspension, or out-of-school suspension. I believe that a restorative justice is a way to get two students to be able to make inner peace with each other when conflict arises. And we want to represent that in our video. The second thing is how we're also working with freshmen. Every time on seventh period, we always go down to the freshmen during their freshman orientation day and be able to understand how we be able to set up workshops for them to understand who we are and understand who they are. And we give them like leadership traits to be able to learn and carry on through high school. So this big video that we're going to be working on is very important to us because we want to get representation and some more support and more funding towards this program because it's very beautiful for what we're planning for.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Gallegos. Yeah, you can give him a hand if you wanted to. Next, we'll have a report out by Miss Marissa Don Juan.
Hello, I have a couple updates on Sierra. So our winter sports did kick off this week. We have girls and boys basketball, girls and boys wrestling, and then girls swim. And then we do still have esports going on as well. So girls basketball has their first game December 2nd against George Washington.
And who will
Boys,
be playing in it?
me. Boys basketball will be playing on the 5th against George Washington. That will be a home game. And then Sierra is very, very grateful to be hosting the doubleheader versus Harrison this year on January 10th. For wrestling, girls have their first tournament December 5th and boys have their first tournament December 6th. And then girls swim have their first meet December 3rd versus Fountain Valley and Fountain for Carson. And then I have some updates on esports. So 3 teams did make playoffs this year: Smash Bros, Mario Kart, and Splatoon. Smash Bros won their first playoff match. So they are ranked 48th and they beat the 18th ranked team. They also won their second playoff match against the 15th ranked team. And on Friday, they will be playing the second ranked team. Mario Kart plays today. They are 25th and they will be playing the 8th ranked team. And Splatoon will be playing tomorrow and they are ranked 14th and they will be playing the 3rd ranked team. Our National Honor Society, or NHS, also started last week. We had our first meeting on Wednesday. And speaking of National Honor Society, we will be hosting a Winter Fest December 12th. So this is just an opportunity for the community to come together. We host games. It'll be fun. I encourage everyone to come out and support. It'll be a good night. Some student concerns that we have are sports physicals. So we have noticed that it has been difficult for students to get them. And we just need to get more opportunities. We need to get more physicals on site. And I think it would be good if we could possibly have opportunities before every sports season, which would be 3 times a year. That way, no matter what sport you play, you have the opportunity to get your physical. Our athletic trainer, Madison, is also very helpful with getting our athletes the information they need in order to get these physicals. Another student concern is still food scarcity. We do have our food pantry, which is open once a week. It is very utilized and is also utilized by our staff, which is very good. And then we are also implementing something new called the share table at breakfast and lunch. So anything that is packaged and unopened will be collected and placed on tables for students to grab and help themselves too. And then we were also able to provide 43 Thanksgiving boxes for Sierra families with help from the district, our security guards, and a fraternity partnership. So we were able to help out our community. And then an update that is not so good is our off-campus lunch was taken away for the remainder of the first semester. So it was noticed that kids are not making it back to school on time. They're missing vital instruction time. There have also been trash concerns, which our student council, our AVID, and our special ed classes do help clean up trash around the school and neighborhood area. And then the behavior, like on off-campus lunch, was just not meeting expectations and standards. But after winter break, juniors and seniors will be given their off-campus lunch back. But if behaviors persist, it will be taken away for the remainder of the school year. And yeah, those are my updates.
Just want to thank both of our board reps for just providing us wonderful information about the great things and sometimes the challenging things that are happening at their schools. And I'm excited to see this video and when you guys get that out. And I really hope that this transition from off campus to on campus, I hope it really works, you know, and I just applaud you all because those high schools are like little cities and it's a lot. So thank you.
Yes, so before they leave, thank you so very much to our students. We know that you have school. So we would release you at this time. So thank you very much. We are going on to item 8. It is board consent agenda. 8.1 is approval of minutes for work session October 9th, 2025, and board meeting October 23rd, 2025. 8.2 is OE4, Personnel Administration Monitoring. Dr. Angela Valdez, Assistant Superintendent of Academic Support. Item 8.3, OE11, Instructional Program Indicator Report. Ms. Rachel Loffer, Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, and Mr. Andy Bristol, Director of Curriculum and Post-Secondary. Item 8.4, R11 and R12 Indicator Report. Ms. Rachel Loffer, Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, Mr. Andy Bristol, Director of Curriculum and Post-Secondary, and Mr. Scott Weldon, Director of Data. At this point, 8.5, I just need a recommended motion, please.
I move to approve the board consent agenda.
I second.
Motion to approve the board consent agenda by Ms. Frazier, second by Ms. Tamayo. All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Moving on to item 9, it is the superintendent consent agenda. November 2025 personnel and comparison report. 9.1, 9.2 is addendum to the superintendent contract. We're at 9.3. I just need a recommended motion, please.
I move to approve the superintendent's consent agenda.
I second.
9.3, motion to approve by Ms. Frazier, second by Ms. Tamayo. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approved. We are now at item 10, monitoring board performance. 10.1 is the annual work plan. Do we have any additions or notations?
I just wanted to remind everyone that tomorrow, Harrison has their World Culture Fair from 8:20 to 10:40. I think one of you has already responded. And then it's from 8:20 to 10:40. But the judging, or however they do it, I don't know what it is from 10:10 to 10:40. Okay, and then the Centennial is having their community pie event tomorrow from 2 to 3. And that has already been listed in board docs that maybe 2 or more of you will be attending. Okay. And the CASB information was emailed to you all, the link. CASB is December 11th through 13th, and all of you will be attending. So thank you.
I'd like to have a discussion on scheduling a board retreat for our newest member, getting a date on the calendar.
Sorry.
Getting a date on the calendar for our next board retreat or onboarding.
So
Will it just be the board or will you need staff also?
yes. We will work out the details. We're looking,
Depending on what you need, I can give you different dates that work. That's why it kind of depends who you need at the retreat.
As we've done in the past, it's been so long because since 2023. But whatever we did in the past for our retreat, can we arrange it that way and you provide some convenient dates?
Does Friday at 3 o'clock still work for everybody?
Fridays at 3. Fridays at 3 work for you, Mr. Mayo?
And it'll just be one time for the month, and it usually goes from 3 to 5.
3 to 5. Yes, that should work out. I would just like more advanced notice. Sorry, like on which Friday that will be, but yes, that is generally free for me. Thank you.
Oh, it won't be this Friday, I promise.
No, nuh-uh.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. So, we'll revisit, and get some dates based upon availability.
January?
At this point, um, the district is closed as of,
19th
okay,
of December
okay,
and tomorrow
and
for
tomorrow.
next week.
That's right. So, hopefully we can do it in December before the district closes, but we'll wait to hear back availability. So with that being said, we're going to 10.2. Legislative updates.
Not much with legislative, other than you saw the governor's proposed budget that will not stand. There's gonna have to be changes. Legislature's getting ready to roll out their bills. We've already seen a couple of them. One's about AI and it's called healthcare, but it has things about school counselors. So paying attention to all bills that could affect us. And then as you saw, the current administration in Washington is trying to move everything out of the Department of Education, but they can't move special ed because there's a lot of advocates that will push back about that. So pretty much everything other than special ed is out of the Department of Education. So still watching to see what happens there. We know some courts will push back, some people will sue them. Colorado will be one of them. So we're not getting all frazzled until we see how it all lays out. So there's a lot of changes happening, but nothing in stone yet.
Thank you. All right, so, is there anything else from any of the other board members? With that being said, we are at item 11, and I just need a recommended motion to adjourn, please.
Madam President, I move to adjourn. This is the longest meeting we've had in years.
I second. Which is awesome. That was a great meeting.
Yeah, it was.
A motion to adjourn the longest meeting we've had in years by Ms. Janice Frazier, second by Ms. Emily Tamayo. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody.